Sitting down for a drink, recovering some mana, but it's still Wealthy Man in the most trouble. This kid is a full blind. He blinds the trinket, and that should be the game. They do manage to take him down. The Golden Guardians do it. 2 series in a row, 3-0 Cloud9. They're going to the finals.
This team,
unbelievable right now. Super Cheese vibe a month ago. It just doesn't lie. The Golden Guardians, not only did they advance to the finals, but they 3-0 Cloud9 here. They make it look hopeless. They just came in, they showed them what's up, brought in the Lord Shadow Priest, and it just looks phenomenal. Cloud9, they tried pretty much everything with the Mage Law, the RPS, they tried the Turbo, and they could not defeat the Golden Guardians. The Golden Guardians have come to play, and this could be the second region out of 2 regions where one of the underdogs all of a sudden just steps up and takes it. It's going to be very exciting to see what happens in that next series. But first, the replay, Super Tees.
Yeah, I mean, look right here, Peekaboo. The beans.
good day to you.
I think we all could have guessed that.
It's still exciting.
You got 3 options. It's in RPS, it's Stug.
That's still only a 33% chance of being correct. Oh, that's pretty good.
Well, I think the main thing is Golden Guardians was not going to lock in RPS again. I feel like I would have rather have seen Peekaboo come in the game. You know, Peekaboo Windwalker Monk, that would be even better. So,
wait, Monk Hunter. Why don't they do Monk Hunter?
That's true, actually. But, I mean, right now, they decided to go Shadow Priest Hunter, and I'm kind of happy with that, because it's looked good so far for them to get a full freezing trap onto Brain, double leg sweep onto Jellybeans and Whiskey, nice spear here onto Zwen, Void Eruption coming out from Whiskey. He's trying to play aggressive those couple of seconds here, while Zwen is in CC, but now Zwen is going to connect, and here comes
That's the kneecaps!
Oh my god! There it is. The first dusting of the finals has just happened, ladies and gentlemen. And Greg, what did he pull? An entire spell book here. Actually, no. They only used the Spirit Link Totem for that. And the Whiskey's Trigger, so they still have the dispersion. And it didn't panic. They panicked a bit, but it didn't full-on panic at least. And they got Brain's Trinket, so Golden Guardians definitely still in it.
Jellybeans has to carry this game. Jellybeans basically has to solo Drake, get all of the crowd control, and carry Whiskey in his backpack up Mount Everest on this Shadow Priest against Drake. Jellybeans lands the freezing trap, but Drake flesh crafts. He's going to be way too durable to go down during that trap. Ceralium line of sighting, avoiding the go. Abstract gets Dragon's Breath on his shackle. Whiskey gets Dragon's Breath on his fear. He's not able to connect it now onto Brain. Drake is rolling up onto Whiskey. Bone Dust Brew comes up in 1 second. Whiskey, are your knees ready? Are they shaking? Drake is loading up, getting ready for it. Shackles are coming in as well onto Whiskey. He gets interrupted on his Master Spell. He robs him away from the Poly to go for Spinning Crane Kick if he wants to. Double Dragon's Breath. Whiskey disperses to try and avoid death from that Bone Dust Brew. I think that was a wise decision on his part, but Drake is just going to retreat away. They've been managing to get quite a lot of cooldowns from Drake. If they keep getting these freezing traps from Jellybeans, Drake is trying to go for the kill. Absurge Fleshcrafts. We see Stunlock by Jellybeans onto Ceralium, punching down Drake. Can Jellybeans protect Whiskey? Jellybeans, this is going to be the heaviest carry you've ever done in your life. Here comes Spinning Crane Kick. Whiskey jumps away from it, and Drake is in trouble. Whiskey, can he take him out? He's so low. Brain comes out of freezing trap in 1 second. He has sacrifice if he needs to trade it. Brain is so greedy here, not trading any cooldowns, but now holds on to them for the next go. If anything, this is the most potential we've seen from the Golden Guardians. They might just pull it off, but Spinning Crane Kick says otherwise. Fade at 10% health, and that is going to be it for Whiskey. Jellybeans is going for the kill onto Drake, trying to finish him as he retreats back behind the pillar. And I'm starting to think that just get Whiskey off the Shadow Priest and they can do this. Just imagine if he was a Windwalker Monk instead. I swear, BM Hunter Windwalker, is it even bad in this matchup? Am I wrong to think that?
I think it is. And the reason why I think it is because I just feel like the Mage will be so disruptive in that matchup. Like, if Peekaboo is on his Windwalker Monk, and it just seems like, you know, all the pets are going to get Nova, he's going to get Dragon's Breath, like, he's going to get Spam Polymorph. I don't know. They could try it out, but I didn't mind this. In this game, this was by far the best game for the Golden Guardians. Drake was actually pressured. This is the first time we
here onto Absturge.
Oh, that Rob.
Going for Whiskey. Oh, beautiful ring of peace there. Gonna knock Whiskey away from the early wall. But Whiskey with a counter attack here gets a double clear. Right? Staying on the target. Feels like the touch of armor here. Looking to get aggressive here. Big damage with Fist of Fury. The Zwen as well active here onto Whiskey. He's taking quite some damage, but Drake finally feeling like he needs to get out of there. Feeling like he's not 100% safe anymore without that touch of karma. Gonna duck back in. Brain now getting power control. Drake immediately rolling away. This is big damage from Jellybean. So this is exactly what he needs to do in the match. He just needs to create so much pressure, and that's really the only way I feel like Whiskey can actually survive. Just have enough damage to make Drake run away.
Yeah, Jellybeans is cover fire. He's just got suppression, trying to keep Drake away and scared for his life. But right now, Whiskey's interrupted on Master Spell. Instant kick. Absturge drops Healing Tide Totem in a panic to recover. Whiskey gets counterspelled on his Fleshcraft. Absturge drops Earthen Wall Totem to survive through the combustion. Now, Jellybeans with cover fire forces Drake to retreat. Whiskey's chasing him down. Brain uses Medallion to break out of crowd control. The pressure is quite high if Jellybeans gets out of these polymorphs, but a double leg sweep. Is Earthen Wall's defense going to be enough here as Drake is Fists of Fury are flying, disorienting them. Jellybeans from downtown with the Door of Shadows disrupts Fists of Fury for a moment, but Drake is still all over him. Now the suppression fire. Drake is on the run. Is Jellybeans going to be able to chase him down, put a point on the board, break the curse of 15-0 against Method NA? They need to win just a game to break that curse, and maybe they can do it all of the way. Drake diffuses off the shackle. Brain is trying to recover, but this is the most pressure we've seen Drake under throughout any time I think these teams have ever met. But Ring of Peace disrupts Whiskey for a moment. He snipes out the Master Spell. Drake is trying to take him down, cleaving with Fists of Fury, but Jellybeans is just pew, 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 trying to force Drake away. Is he going to be able to get it? And double blind from Brain. I think this could be it for Whiskey. Huge damage. Dispersion on 10%. Is Whiskey going to be able to hold on much longer? Stun.
No.
Jellybeans doesn't have freezing trap. Whiskey gets lights up, spinning crane kick. Look at the damage. Even through Spirit Link Totem, Whiskey is just getting totally annihilated. He's running for his life around the corner. So this damage is absolutely out of this world.
No reaction.
I mean,
Look at him.
you said it all. The damage is out of this world. Drake is absolutely ripping into the Shadow Priest Method NA all out aggression. Another close game. Drake was under pressure, but that second win, the White Tiger, phone through images, that's the Enrage timer. I mean, at that point in the game, you're killing through Spirit Link Totem. Oh, man. I mean, that was insane. And this is why we talked about it in the pre-show. It just seems like Method NA with this composition, any Shadow Priest they play against is going to have a bad time.
Method NA 2-0. Two very quick, swift victories as well. Drake absolutely dominating here in this game number 2, and we're going to see it all happen right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like Ben said, the Enrage timer is definitely real, and right now there's 10 seconds left on it. So
I feel like I need to read this out really quick. I see a tweet by Whiskey. He goes, "Made it to the finals. Time for Drizzy to spinning crane kick me in the head." Unhappy face. So that we can, with that in mind, let's watch the replay.
yeah,
Where is it?
Thank you for setting the mood for us here, making sure that we can all fully enjoy what's about to happen here. So this is the disperse, you know, Absturge, so this Trinket Spirit Link here, drops the Earthen Wall, like everything okay here.
Blessing of you don't have Trinket, so for Method NA, they have kind of a clear game plan for Golden Guardians. I don't think it's super obvious. They might be able to go after Cerulean, but I feel like unless Absturge is free to purge a lot, I don't think it's going to work out well for them.
Now, do you feel like this is a calculated decision on Golden Guardians' part, or they're just trying, just throwing a different composition at it, hoping that it'll work?
I'll say this. If it was calculated, it would have been a game 1. Like, if this was like, okay, this is the plan, it would have been game 1. This is, okay, Whiskey cannot live. Let's try something else.
Right.
So it's calculated in that regard. I guess the calculation is Whiskey dies, so we can't win if Whiskey is playing, more than likely. So let's mix it up. And this is really their only other option, right? They could bring in Peekaboo. Windwalker BM Hunter, but I like to see Peekaboo on the Rogue. I feel like they've had good success in the past going after Windwalker monks as the front cleave. Definitely a lot of damage. Assassination Rogue, BM Hunters, it's going to be a lot of pressure. If they get CC on Brain, if they get Drake and stuns, that's a recipe for success. It's just about how free Absurge can be in the match.
All right, let's see it here. Drake in a full sap. Cheap shot onto Brain. They're going to go after Drake, it looks like. To get the kidney shot. He has a big Fleshcraft shield, though. They just Vendetta into it. Drake's not going to take too much damage. He gets full value out of that. Use magic trades out here. And Drake should be able to recover here. Brain's in the backline now. Spam healing him. Surround room to ring across.
Oh, nice
here comes
ring.
the damage going after that. Here comes the spins. Trinkets and trades out the Astral Shift right away. But that was not the Zwen up. The Zwen of Drake here. Kidney shot smoke up from Peekaboo. Drake still going absolutely crazy here. There's a touch of karma. They're trying to bust through it. Drake realizes starting to free run here. Zap onto Brain. No trinket available. He's maybe he needs to use his sacrifice here. Save that light's gonna proc. And there's a full kill roll onto Brain as well as Drake.
Wow.
And there it is. Attack is finally going to connect. They have insane pressure here. But Absurge, the next time they connect onto him, it could be lights out here. They just need to paralyze him into a Hammer of Justice. We've seen it so many times, and they do it. Cheap shot onto Brain. They try to continue the chain here once again onto Drake. Fist of Fury to parry potential kidney.
Hammers.
Hammer of Justice Drake now.
Oh, that's it.
The spinning crane kick. They have a
the
restart.
wing.
Another spinning crane kick. The whole team is just dying. That's going to be even more cooldown coming out from Absurge. That is going to be the last CD in his spellbook, Sid.
Yeah, but he stayed alive. If Peekaboo and Jellybeans can connect onto Drake, they're so close, but Drake is just running away. Grapple weapon on Peekaboo, snaring him up. Brain into a stun. Jellybeans moves over for a freezing trap. Can Drake eat it? No, he can't. Drake's in a stun. This has to be Divine Shield. You're not sitting this Brain. Drake can go down. They've done it! Golden Guardians have broken the curse. They put a point on the board, and it's off the backs of Peekaboo and Jellybeans coming together.
All right, that's their first win against this team in this expansion, quite literally. The first time they've beaten them. So they saved the best for the finals. Golden Guardians with their thug cleave, they did. Kept Drake on the back foot and were able to punish. Great job by them. Method and A, I feel like they fumbled a little bit at the end. They could have Divine Shield, used the Blessing of Protection a little bit early, but it was too little too late. And as a result, Golden Guardians will pick up a win. And the question is this composition going to be able to actually carry them back into the situation where they can win 3 more in a row? I don't know, but this is certainly a great start.
Look at that damage on Absurge, man. Like, we all thought it was over here. Like, he dies through Link. He puts Link down, look at his whole team. It's like they're fighting an Affliction Warlock in a previous expansion. They're all just dead on the
I wasn't
ground.
getting CDs from Drake either. He had nothing. Look, Bone Dust wasn't used, knows when. To be fair, I think that was Combustion, and maybe, I guess, a spinning crane kick, but it wasn't Images or Bone Dust, so. But still, barely surviving there. And then at this point, Drake is trying to play defensive. So Peekaboo is all over him. You can see Drake right now, he's got no trinket, he's got no defensives. But Brain, he actually has the Divine Shield for the Blessing of Protection. It's really rare you see Method and A fumble in terms of defensives. They tried to greet it here, and that greet did not pay off. Got a kidney shot. The Brain could easily just Divine Shield. Blessing of Protection needs to be used next, but it was too little, too late. Didn't have the healing, and disrespected the offensive damage, I guess, of Peekaboo and Jellybeans, and they were able to get a win in under 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was a quick one. I feel like I just looked away for a second. Someone was dead on the floor. Golden Guardians living to see another day. So nobody is yet to be on match point. Now it's Method NA that's going to have to start off the draft, and they're going to be choosing a map. So, I mean, somebody kind of already said it. Like, is this a composition that's going to be able to be played throughout the rest of the series? Because you can bet Method NA right now is discussing what exactly they want to do if they have to face this composition again. And what is their move here going forward, Zico?
I think for Golden Guardians, you locked this in absolutely again. For Method and A, they almost got the kill there. And, I mean, do you want to stick with it one more time? I feel like they could have used the bubble there. I think Drake actually has forbearance with that previous Blessing of Protection for a couple of more seconds when he died. So there was a couple of things they could have done to actually survive that. And they had good pressure. So they could lock it in again, and it wouldn't be the worst thing. But they also have so many different options, right? So it's really up to them what they decide here. Personally, I would like to see it one more time.
Yeah, I would to see what they can do heading into these next couple of games, but yeah, I guess we'll find out soon enough. We're gonna get the. Have we looked at a replay yet? I'm like spacing out. It's been a long day. Okay, just making sure that I'm not gonna like throw to a replay when we don't have any more to see. But anyways, Golden Guardians showing signs of life, and that is their first victory ever as well against Method NA in Shadowlands.
We can't applaud them, yeah. It's
Yeah,
gonna be maybe a the one hand applause by Zico.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, I have a broken elbow, so
I know. I'm saying your
Wow.
one-handed applause is better than some people's two. the
Yeah,
clap
some people
strat.
can do that. They just like do that, and they're.
No, but yeah,
do
Zico
it.
is like the god of that. I can't do that. Solo clap. Wait, is the mic not picking it
crazy.
up? I think the mic's
think
picking
so.
it
doesn't
up.
pick it up anymore.
the mic's too good. I mean, I won't take it to the mic. Gonna slap it. All right. Clap in the chat for Golden Guardians. Can they keep
Yeah.
this going? That's the question.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, no matter how this series ends, no matter how this tournament ends for Golden Guardians, I feel like they have had a tremendous tournament, a tremendous season as well. They've certainly gone a lot farther than they have in the past. They managed to take a victory, at least one. I'm not saying they've lost this series yet. At least one game off of a team that they have had 15 losses against, I think, before we went into
Yep.
this series. So that's huge for them. They've managed to figure something out, and I cannot wait to see if they can continue that and get even more games off of them. I would love to see Golden Guardians bring Method NA to a Game 7. That would be tremendous for them, and I think that would certainly shake things up a little bit for Method NA. I don't think they're used to being in this position against Golden Guardians, Ben.
Definitely not. But here's the thing. Method NA is a very calculated team, so I kind of wonder what are they going to run as a countercomp, because I mean they could just lock in the same thing and try it again, but they have Prev as also.
Yeah, Boomkin.
So they could play
Yeah.
Am I gonna get to
Walker
see a
Bunch if they want.
Boomkin? This is the best way to end it
Nope.
if I get to see it.
Shadow Priest.
You gotta see Fred though.
You get to see Prev, but he is not the
There,
actual
there,
chicken
Sid.
anymore. He's going with the Shadow Priest.
Dark side, man. Everybody's giving up their Boomkins. They're turning into cats.
Super D's,
and
you play a
boy
warrior. You're a
I rerolled to a warrior too. Everyone's abandoned. It's over. Like I was the last
So they even-
bastion of chicken, and I've given up. Boomkins are done. They're
Just go play
extinct. The
PvE.
next dodo bird.
Oh man. Okay, well, we've seen Windwalker Shadow Priest here for Method NA. Talk to me about this comp, Sid. What do they want to be doing?
Well,
Or are you too depressed about the no moonkin thing to
MD
analyze
trap.
this situation?
yeah, having utility to remove all of Hunter's crowd control is a pretty big deal. This is where, I mean, after this game, Peekaboo goes Windwalker and just dusts Prev on a Shadow Priest. You know? Come on. The endangered chief. I just have multiple titles. I got way more titles than everybody on the desk. Achievement points unlocked. We need some more. We need titles for.
IRL
Come
achievement
on.
points.
You guys need some bold statements. You'll get more titles.
What was your bold statement?
Dodo Bird Boomkin.
Do we need to make like unpopular opinions or something on the desk?
Is that what?
Is that
Is
how
my
we time?
is my opinion unpopular?
Some of them, for sure.
All right. Well,
Okay. Yeah, we're getting a little sidetracked here. Go ahead, Ben.
no, I was gonna say. I mean, yeah, the main idea here is Prev can just massive spell trap, so that becomes a little bit more difficult when you can do that. He also has void shift, but I still think the same principles apply. I mean, Peekaboo and Jelly Beans. I wonder if they play Diamond Trap. They could play
You
that.
can't as
Diamond
BM.
Oh,
You can't as
okay, well,
BM.
what do I know? They can't play that as BM, so
I
that's
think
not
you
gonna
just
be an option.
hex. You just hex the Shadow Priest.
Oh yeah, there's no decurse now. Yeah, I guess you get hex on the Shadow Priest. He can def it, but yeah, maybe you hex the Paladin.
You could
Maybe
hex the
stun the
Paladin or hex
Paladin?
the Priest, yeah.
To stun the Paladin into a hex and full trap the Priest. I think they could still win. I
Yeah.
don't even know if this is the composition. I wonder if they should have played something else.
Warrior
What if they should've-
Shadow Priest, maybe.
What if they should have played RPS?
Oh my
They
god,
still can.
imagine you have to play RPS to beat the Golden Guy. So is this really gonna happen like that? I mean, it's been that kind of
Stranger
day.
things
It
have
could
happened.
actually be that.
I feel like this is, I mean, and I'm not even saying this to like try and hype up chat or anything. This is me being completely honest right now. This is one of the most exciting weekends I feel like of AWC we've had in a really long time. I'm having like a great time watching these games. I don't know about you guys.
I don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Of course I'm having a great time.
Like, I
Yeah,
was
of course
like,
I'm having a
there's
great
so
time.
much
This has been insane.
silence. That silence
So-
was so loud.
Well, I will say this. I don't think any of us knew who exactly you were, we didn't want to talk over each other was basically the
Okay,
main thing.
well,
So.
I was okay. You're right. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
okay, we didn't want to talk over each other, but yes, it's been incredibly exciting. We're seeing teams play compositions they've kind of abandoned. I mean, it started
Yeah.
today with Method EU playing the Rogue Mage Druid, doing an absolutely phenomenal job. Now we're seeing the Golden Guardians rise up, playing the Hunter Shadow Priest, playing the Shadow Priest Rogue, and now the Hunter Rogue. All three of their compositions have been utilized today, and they actually get their first win ever in Shadowlands against Method NA. Let's see if they can continue the trend.
All right, let's see it. Let's go. Let's see it. Golden Guardians, they need your energy. I just have one thing to say to the people in the chat watching right now. If you are a member of the move, can you please let us know in the chat, because the Golden Guardians and Peekaboo have been tagged in.
Look at
They're
it.
going to need it here in this game here. Let's see the setup. They
They
get
did
the
it.
trap, they get the full blind, they get the full hex on the front, and they are going after Drake, going exactly as we kind of predicted here in terms of strategy and targeting. But Jellybean is going to be the target right now. And the Duster is looking for a new victim. Here comes the Dusting. Does he get a spinning crane kick? There's a smoke bomb. There's a kidney shot.
Bomb.
Preemptive bomb comes out.
Yeah,
Oh, by
both bombs.
Brain. Beautifully done. They already got both of those. They have sacrifice left. The Jellybeans is rotting down here. That's how you're going to keep him back up. The Duster's connecting here. He's sounding the images. There it is. Jellybeans is not taking any chances with that one. He's going to land a freezing trap onto Brain. And that means Drake will run for the hills here as the Golden Guardians look to make their push.
He's got no aspect of the turtle, but they've gotten through 2 bops already, not even a minute into the game. Can Jellybeans keep it going for his team here? Peekaboo's trying to set up. Drake turbo fisting away, avoiding the kidney shot. Peekaboo rolls up. He stuns up Brain. They need Hex. They need Trap. They need perfect crowd control. If they're going to close this out, can they find it? Prev gets Trinket out of the Hex to mass as well the trap. Now Jellybeans in trouble. He Trinkets. He's on the run, but spinning crane kick does not care. Massive damage swings through, and Method NA move to match point.
Looking bad for the Golden Guardians until it looked terrible. And I mean, they had good damage. They got blessing and protections out of the way, both of them in under 1 minute. Peekaboo and Upsurge might end up trying to play this out, but I don't think there's much of a chance for them. Ultimately, Method NA, they come into the big spinning crane kick, and they were able to take him down, but they had the cooldowns to trade. It's so hard sometimes to react to those situations. I mean, if you miscalculate for even a moment, you don't predict the damage, you're going to go down. I mean, Upsurge, he tried to get the Trinket Spear Link, he had them, but it was just a fraction of a second too late.
Woo! Method NA, they had a moment of weakness. Golden Guardians able to get a win, but they've bounced back super quickly, making that strategy change and getting a win, and now they are on match point. Well, let's see how they did it.
Yeah, this was just such a back and forth. Well, they still had, of course, a lot of cooldowns still from Method NA, but the pressure was back and forth is what I meant. Like, nobody was really safe. Like Drake, he didn't really feel 100% safe. You can see he's like pre-running a bit. He's ducking back in, not get aggressive. Pre-touch of Karma there on the kidney shot.
That's
Even when
nice.
he's on full HP, he's expecting these setups, and he's respecting them as well. Look at
Drake
that,
it.
already busting through the Karma and bringing him to 50% HP. I mean, if Drake doesn't make a play like that, they're going to fall immensely behind, right? And here they get the Trinket of Jellybeans, they get the Turtle, they got basically everything, and they just don't have enough in the tank there. Upsurge a little bit too late with the Trinket Spirit Link, but this is exactly the situation Upsurge is talking about as well. It's like, well, if you don't overlap, you just die. So you have to overlap your Hunter Trinket. You have to overlap the Trinket Spirit Link. You don't really have a choice. It's just you have to chain them like that. The damage is insane.
I kind of wonder. There's a few things. I wonder if Jellybean should be using Emblem instead. I think he's using the Alacrity Trinket for extra damage, but I wonder if he just survives these setups. Like, I wonder if he just survives the setup if he has the Emblem. And number two, I feel like they needed to respect the Touch of Karma. Like that Touch of Karma, they shred through it, and Jellybean just eats all of the damage. I mean, that's what's literally ripping him apart right now. So Jellybean, look at that Karma just ripping in. Drake just gets there with the last tick of a spinning crane kick. Honestly, I think it was Karma that killed him. Just the full Karma with Shadow Priest dodge that just took him down for the Rising Sun kick. And, that was the game. So maybe they could have had more of a heads-up reaction to that situation. But we find ourselves on match point. Method NA 1 game away from being the 3-time North American champs. I mean, this team is unbelievable. And Golden Guardians is looking to be the team to defy them and come back in the series. But they got a lot of work ahead of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like there's such a difference as well between these two teams. You know, the Move, Golden Guardians, they've been playing together for so long. You know, and then in contrast, we've got Method NA. They've started playing since BFA, and they've won basically everything ever since. And then Golden Guardians haven't really had that sort of success in contrast. And then also, if you want even more comparison, you know, the Golden Guardians, huge fan base, huge streamers, huge social media presence. And then I feel like with Method NA, the players individually, there's really a lot of mystery surrounding them. We don't really know much about them. They're not really streaming on Twitch or anything. Not a lot of people watching from home had probably heard of them before they started getting those wins in BFA. And I just think the juxtaposition between these two teams and the fact that we're seeing them face off against each other here in the finals is kind of an interesting comparison. But, you know, like Ben has already said, they're one game away from winning the finals. They're so close, but Golden Guardians is going to be looking to make a comeback here, Sid.
Remember the Absur's dying in stuns video where he hated Windwalker DK so much? He made a video of him just dying in stuns.
Yeah.
I want WizK to make a video, dude. I want WizK to make a video of dying to spinning crane kick and just every clip of WizK getting dusted. He's locking himself in again. He's bringing...
No, but it's... Hey,
I mean, it's a different comp. It's a different comp. Okay, it's a different comp, but still, man, like, I think I'd rather be Prev with an assassination rogue than WizK with a Windwalker right now.
Yeah, maybe. I don't really mind this. I mean, they have a lot of crowd control. Absturge is going to be able to get hexes. They have no hex to spell. So you play short hex, you can just spam them out. You know, get them on Prev, get them on Brain. They have no range to interrupt. Keep that in mind. I feel like Golden Guardians are going to... I think they're going to win this game. I think they have a compositional edge. They've got tons of crowd control with Absturge, the Hex, of course WizK and Peekaboo as well. So you cannot count them out. This is their composition pick. This is their map pick. And a great opportunity for them to put a point on the board.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like both sides here, I think Golden Guardians, they should have the tools that they need to win the game. But the one thing that I will give in favor of Method NA is the fact that they got the duster on their team, and I feel like at some point there's just going to be a random one-shot happening, you know? And a situation like that can make the Guardians just have a lot of their cooldowns, and that can really seal the deal. But compositionally, I feel like if the game goes on, let's say for let's say the game is longer than 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, I feel like it's very likely that the Golden Guardians win if the game is, you know, kind of even at that point. So I would say that the later the game goes, the Shaman's going to outman, the Shaman's going to have the hexes, and the crowd control is going to be too much. And the lockdown as well that Peekaboo offers is going to be too much. But in terms of one-shotting, if somebody's getting one-shotted, it's somebody on Golden Guardians, I feel like.
Who is it?
WizK.
WizK probably.
Yeah.
Probably gathering footage for his
for his montage
PvP video.
Horrible.
His highlight
Okay,
reel.
well, for sure, let's keep an eye on WizK. Let's see if he can keep that pressure off of him that you know is going to be coming from Method NA. This could be the last time that we see these two. Well, it is. I mean, it's going to be the last. This is the last series of the season, of course. But Golden Guardians may be losing here. Let's hope they can stay in this series. If you guys are a fan of Golden Guardians, you definitely want to be rooting for them. Giving your energy in the chat, especially for WizK. If he gets one shots like Zico predicts, it's Method NA on match point versus Golden Guardians in the grand finals.
The sky is on fire here. We have our European champions Horizon. Now we need a North American who is going to rise to the occasion. Can the Golden Guardians upset what was a 15-0 win streak for Method NA going into these finals? They won one game with Jellybeans and Peekaboo. They tag WizK back in game number 4 to try and close it out and move to game 5. Can they manage to pull it off? Already decent pressure onto Prev. so far, but Drake is just waiting in the wings to unleash hell down on WizK. Look at the damage already, interrupting his shackle. There's a spinning crane kick. He fears it, but doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. WizK fades at that low health. I can't believe he still had the fade. He instant feared it. He's still dead. He has to disperse on top of everything right now. Shackles are coming through onto WizK. It's match point for the Golden Guardians. He goes to the master spell, but a paralyze follows it up. After just a drop Spearling, he has to trinket. The Golden Guardians are dead, and they are getting absolutely wrecked. Peekaboo is getting creeped down. WizK is getting totally annihilated. Abster just barely keeping his team afloat right now. They need an absolute miracle.
They weathered the storm, though. I mean, that was a lot of the damage that Drake had available. I think he's going to be able to survive. We'll have to wait and see. What a nightmare. You trade out literally every cooldown you have. They're going after Drake now, which is exactly what I think they should do. Go after the Windwalker Monk, put kidney shots on him. Drake has no trinket at this point of the game. Golden Guardian's still going to have to play some solid defense, but with no cooldowns, Drake gets a proc. Here's a stun on WizK, paralyzed. WizK could go down. He fades. Beautiful psychic scream as well. Grips Absurge out of line of sight, tops off, but into a double stun. Nice people there to save the day. Slowing down the damage with that kidney shot, and Golden Guardians stay alive, but for how long?
Oh no, Abster's
Look at Drake running at him. He's like the Terminator. Abster, he's bouncing across the wall here. He's going for the Hex. Doesn't get the sacrifice. He doesn't get the sacrifice on the Hex. That damage is so heavily reduced by the water unleash, but it's gonna be enough. Drake gets sacrificed by Brain with the bubble. There's the mind control
images.
WizK. Abster is bombing in here in the back line. He gets the root on all the images. They get the kidney shot. They breathe for just a second. Drake rolls away, goes for the Fleshcraft here, and he is looking to turn it up here. WizK has his dispersion, and he might have to use it very, very soon here. They're stacking up here. There it is, Unleash Shield coming out from Mr. Abster, and there is the setup, and that's going to be an immediate dispersion coming out. You got the silence to follow it up, and the Enraged Timer has been hit here, Super Tees.
They kidney shot Drake. Drake trinkets. They bop Drake. They're going all in. Peekaboo needs to kill Drake with this vendetta, but there's no crowd control on Brain. It's Spinning Crane Kick is closing it out. North America's champions, Method NA.
3 in a row. They were the champions in Battle for Azeroth, champions in Season 1, and now champions in Season 2. Unbelievable. I mean, this team is just so well-rounded, and they put on quite a performance here in the top 4 in North America, making it all the way into the finals. I mean, and winning the finals. Golden Guardians, though, a bit of an accomplishment for them also, winning their first game against Method NA. I mean, really, really intense finals, but Windwalker picked up Drake, Brain backing him up, Trev and Ceralium. It was just too much for them.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, not only is it an accomplishment to at least get a game off of a team,
In this Diablo 2 Resurrected Beginner Guide, I'll be giving some general guidelines and tips that will help you get started with Diablo 2. This Diablo 2 guide is intended for newcomers, but if you haven't played in a while, you might find it useful to refresh your memory on some basic mechanics. The first thing that you need to do when you start the game is decide which class you'll be playing. If you're a newcomer, I strongly recommend that you pick a class based on your liking and not based on any build guide. The reason for this is that most builds heavily rely on powerful items that you likely won't be able to get for at least the first 50 to 100 hours of the game. This will mean that you'll end up struggling as you progress through the game, resulting in a frustrating experience. Instead, you should start playing a class that is appealing to you and learn about the game as you progress through the different acts and difficulties. This will give you a better grasp of the mechanics, allowing you to define your own playstyle, at which point you'll be better suited to search for a build and devote to it. With a good build, all classes are very strong at endgame, but each of them have very unique playstyles. We'll be publishing individual guides and builds for each class, but I want to give you a basic overview of each of them in case you're still on the fence regarding which one to choose. The Sorceress is one of the most popular characters because of her ability to quickly maneuver through the battlefield and attack from a safe position with ranged spells. She can use fire, ice, and lightning spells and has one of the best abilities in the game called Teleport, which allows her to quickly move through the map or escape from any danger. She has a low health pool, which often means that you need to constantly keep a safe range and avoid enemy attacks. The Amazon uses lances to fight up close with enemies, or bows, crossbows, and javelins to attack from a safe distance. She is best used to kite enemies, dealing enormous amounts of damage. Right. Amazons rely on running speed to quickly move through the battlefield, which can be both a good or a bad thing depending on the situation. Paladins use defensive and offensive auras to buff both themselves and allies on the battlefield. They are very tanky due to their shield abilities and defensive auras, but without enough gear they can fall behind in damage compared to other classes. It's worth mentioning that this downside is only noticeable during early gameplay, as fully equipped paladins are one of the highest DPS classes in the game. The Necromancer can summon minions to fight by his side against the forces of evil. He can also use curses to debilitate enemies, turning the tide of battle in his favor. He also has access to ranged spells, allowing him to stay in a safe position most of the time. Summoner Necromancers require corpses to raise their army, which means that they might need some time to get going on each run. Barbarians are very tanky and fight enemies face to face. They have access to shouts, which acts as buffs that affects both themselves and party members, greatly increasing both defensive and offensive capabilities for a long period of time. They can also increase their affinity with most weapon types, opening up the possibility to numerous and very distinct builds for both PvP and PvE. Druids use the power of nature to fight against the forces of evil. They are sort of a jack-of-all-trades class, combining the ability to summon companions, transform into a beast to fight up close, and use magical abilities to fight from a safe distance. While they have access to a wide range of abilities, you'll need to focus on a specific category to effectively pass through to the endgame. Assassins can run very quickly across the battlefield and use spells and traps to damage enemies. Traps can be laid on the ground and will periodically attack enemies within range, while you avoid attacks taking advantage of your mobility. Most people don't know it, but assassins can open closed chests without keys, which is very useful during early gameplay and saves inventory space during late game. Defeating enemies will grant you experience, resulting in your character leveling up. Each time you level up, you'll be awarded with 5 attribute points and 1 skill point. There are 2 different ways you can respec your character in Diablo 2, and the first one is by completing the Den of Evil quest in Act 1, which can be done 1 time per difficulty, resulting in 3 respecs per character. The second one is by crafting a token of absolution, and you can find all the information on how to craft it on our wiki. So don't be too concerned with making a huge mistake, because you can respec as many times as you like using tokens of absolution. Attributes have very little impact on your overall stats and are mainly used to determine the equipment that you can use. You should distribute your attribute points between 3 different stats, which are strength, dexterity, and vitality. Most builds won't need any points assigned into energy, so even if you feel that you're lacking mana during early gameplay and might feel tempted to assign points there, don't do it, as this will be compensated by your equipment in the long run. Most equipment, such as weapons and armor, have strength requirements that must be met in order to be used. The amount you'll require will heavily depend on your build. I would recommend that you assign between 100 to 120 points to be able to equip the most popular endgame equipment, distributed the following way: 45 points by level 20, 75 points by level 45, and 100 to 120 points by level 70. Similar to strength, some equipment will require dexterity to be used. The amount of dexterity required by your character will highly depend on your equipment choices. If you're using a shield, its block chance will depend on 2 things: the type of shield that you are using and the amount of dexterity that you have. The block chance caps at 75%, so if you're using a shield, it's recommended that you assign enough points to hit the 75% cap. This will vary depending on what equipment you have, so you'll have to do the math yourself. Just make sure it's enough to hit the cap. All remaining points that you didn't spend on strength or dexterity should be assigned into vitality. Each point assigned into vitality will increase your life points, greatly increasing your survivability. You can hold shift to assign all remaining points at the same time. Energy increases your total amount of mana, allowing you to cast more spells. Mana can easily be acquired through equipment later in the game, so I wouldn't recommend spending points here unless absolutely necessary. Each class has 3 different skill trees, each of them composed by 10 different skills for a total of 30 skills for each class. With most classes, you'll end up using 1 or 2 different active skills at all times, so I highly recommend that you stick with 1 or 2 trees for each of your characters. You can assign hotkeys to your spells, allowing you to quickly swap them during combat. Even if some abilities are unlocked at higher levels, that doesn't mean that they are stronger. In fact, the most popular skills are often found in the middle of the trees. I strongly suggest that you try the different skills of your class until you find the one that really goes with your playstyle. Once you do, focus on maxing out that skill and you'll quickly notice an increase in your power level. You can save up skill points when you level up, but you'll only be able to use them for abilities that you would be able to get for that level. For example, if you save up 1 skill point from level 5, when you reach level 6 you'll have 2 skill points to assign, but one of them will only be useful for level 1 spells. You can increase skills up to 20 by spending skill points, so you might wonder where to assign points once you've maxed out that skill that you like. Most skills have synergies within the same skill tree, meaning that assigning points into other skills will passively increase the power of your current skill. For example, imagine that you're playing an Ice Sorceress. Your 2 main skills will probably be Ice Blast for dealing with individual targets and Blizzard to deal with crowds of enemies. In the case of Ice Blast, you'll receive synergy from the skills Ice Bolt, Glacial Spike, Blizzard, and Frozen Orb. On the other hand, you'll also increase the following skills by spending points in Ice Blast, Ice Bolt, Glacial Spike, and Blizzard. This means that if you have both Ice Blast and Blizzard at 20, Ice Blast will get an additional 160% damage from Blizzard, and Blizzard will get an additional 100% damage from Ice Blast. Do note that synergies are only considered from actual skill points assigned to a skill, and plus skill modifiers on items won't provide any synergy advantages. You can check out skills on the wiki to learn how skills synergize with each other. Equipment is usually the deciding factor when it comes to determining how strong your character is. Not only that, but some builds will only become viable if you have all the corresponding pieces, meaning that you won't be able to try some builds until you gather all the required equipment. Since loot is random, you won't have control over the equipment you get during early and even mid-game gameplay other than creating rune words. Runes are a special type of socketed item that will not only provide unique properties, but they can also be combined with other runes to create what's called a rune word. Rune words can be formed by inserting runes in a specific order inside certain types of equipment. The item must be normal rarity, able to support the rune word, and it needs to have the same amount of sockets as runes are required. Note that some magical items have sockets on them, but even if you put the runes in the right order, the rune word will not be created and you'll essentially lose your runes, so be sure to use normal rarity items only. While rune words are often referred to as endgame equipment, some of them can be crafted very early into Diablo 2 Resurrected and should not be so hard to come by. If you're lacking a base, you can check with the merchants as they often sell socketed items, but make sure they are normal in rarity. Rune words are the most reliable way to gear up your character while you advance through the game, so I strongly suggest that you take a look at the complete list on our wiki and periodically check the runes that you have and the runes that you can craft. I've added a link to this page in the description, so make sure you bookmark it because you'll be referring to this page quite frequently. Runes can be farmed by doing Countess runs. The Countess is a super unique monster that can be found inside the Forgotten Tower in Act 1. Each time you kill her, she will always drop between 1 and 3 runes, and their level will depend on the difficulty setting. Here are some rune word examples that can be crafted by farming the Countess on normal difficulty. Make sure you check out the wiki for other recipes. Besides rune words, there are some general guidelines on the stats that you should be looking for on your items to make sure that your character scales up with the increased difficulty. Plus to skills is one of the best offensive stats that you can find on your equipment. Increasing all skills or the skills that you use the most will greatly boost your outgoing damage. This modifier is really hard to come by, but it's usually present on class-specific items like staves for the sorceress and wands for the necromancer. Plus damage and plus elemental damage. If you're running physical attack builds, finding a weapon with enhanced attack or elemental damage will greatly increase your damage output. You can always equip the weapon to see how it modifies your stats from the stat menu. Faster cast rate. Faster cast rate allows your character to cast skills faster. This has huge impact on offensive abilities, greatly increasing your DPS. Increased attack speed. This mod increases the attack speed for your character. This is great for melee and bow builds. Plus to resistances or all resistances. Increasing your elemental resistances has a huge impact on survivability, so I'd recommend making this a priority over other defensive stats. Life. If you find yourself dying too quick even after increasing your elemental resistances, increasing your health is the second best way to increase your chances of survival. Faster block rate. This reduces the time required to block a new attack with your shield, allowing you to gain more damage per second. Faster hit recovery. Reduces the time required to recover control of your character after getting hit. This can often prevent stun locks by groups of enemies and allow you to strike back faster after getting hit. Plus strength, plus dexterity, or plus vitality. Some items, specifically rings and amulets, can provide you with a lot of attribute points. This can come in handy during your mid-stage gameplay, allowing you to use items that you don't have the required stats to use yet. Magic Find. Magic Find affects the quality of items dropped by enemies, meaning that you have higher chances of finding magical, rare, unique, and set items. Better drops will result in becoming more powerful. Faster Walk. Increasing your walking speed can help you navigate the map much faster, reducing the time required to complete your runs. Elemental resistances are key when trying to survive in Diablo 2 Resurrected. Most enemies deal elemental damage, and having high resistances will mitigate a great percentage of this damage. For this reason, I strongly recommend that you focus on equipment pieces that provide plus resistances during the normal difficulty of the game. You can check your current resistances by opening the stat menu and looking at the bottom of the screen. Resistances cap at plus 75%, and ideally you want to max all of them when you're reaching the end of normal difficulty. Make sure to periodically check your equipment to balance them out and get them as high as possible, because anything over 75% is lost. You should also know that increasing difficulty levels has a huge impact on elemental resistances, with Nightmare reducing all categories by -40 and Hell reducing them by -100, meaning that on the Hell difficulty you'll need a whopping plus 175% to max out each elemental resistance. Completing the Prison of Ice quest in Act 5 will grant you plus 10 to all resistances, resulting in a passive increase of plus 30 if you complete them on all difficulties. Enemies will constantly drop loot when you defeat them, and at first it might be a little difficult to determine what you should pick up or not. There are 6 types of rarities in Diablo 2: normal, magical, rare, crafted, set, and unique. Normal, white items, usually don't have any kind of stats and are only useful as bases during end game, but since this is a beginner guide, I'll just recommend that you pass on them for the time being. Socketed items, gray. All rarities can have sockets, but only normal socketed items can be used as bases for rune words. The item will need to have the exact amount of sockets as the rune word, as well as being the correct type. I strongly recommend that you pick up and stash away items that fit the rune words you want to make. Magical items, blue, have 1 or 2 random additional stats, but they are not usually worth picking up since all other categories are better. Crafted items, orange. Crafted items become relevant during endgame and can't be dropped by monsters, so I'll leave these for another video. Rare items, yellow. Rare items can have from 2 to 6 random additional stats and are usually worth picking up and identifying to check if they are worth keeping or not. Unique items, gold. Unique items have unique names, images, and attributes. Their attributes are fixed, but they usually range between different levels, for example, plus 20 to plus 30 strength. These items are almost always worth picking up and can have unique stats that can only be present on them. Set items, green. Similar to unique, set items have unique names, images, and attributes. They don't have unique stats on their own, but will provide them when many pieces of the same set are equipped. It's difficult to find all set pieces on your own, but you might be able to get them through trade or borrow them from a friend. Ethereal items, gray. These items have increased stats but can't be repaired, meaning that they'll be destroyed when they reach 0 durability. Ethereal items don't lose durability while used by mercenaries, however, and since they have better stats, they are usually a better option for you. Potions are a huge part of Diablo 2, as they are the best reliable way to replenish life and mana. I strongly recommend that you always have potions on your belt and inventory so that you don't have to come back to town. Health and mana potions will replenish your resources over a short period of time and have no cooldown. Consuming many consecutive potions won't speed up the process, so try to stay calm and drink 1 or 2 potions at a time. If your health quickly drops and you are surrounded by enemies, rejuvenation potions are the best choice since they immediately recover a percentage of both your health and mana. You can acquire potions from the potion vendor of each town. The quality of the potions will depend on the act and difficulty level. A very handy trick here is that you can hold shift, right-clicking and buying on the desired potion, and it will fill your entire belt for that category. You can then unequip the belt, which will place the potions that were held by your belt in your inventory. Re-equip the belt and buy again, and you'll now have a full belt and a full spare in your inventory. You can also hold left shift and left click on a potion in your inventory to quickly equip it into your belt. This is the fastest way to re-equip your belt during combat. The left shift and right-clicking function works for any other consumable item, such as town portals or identifying scrolls, saving you a lot of clicks in the process. One thing that many people don't know is that health and mana potions have different values for each character. For example, a super healing potion will heal the Necromancer for 320 health, while it heals 640 for the Barbarian, so if you're going to play a different character, you might need to get used to its heal values. Antidote potions and thawing potions will not only cure their respective status effect, but also provide plus 50 resistance to their corresponding elemental resistance, making them great for difficult parts such as Act 1's boss and Act 2's boss. The Roderick Cube is a unique quest item that can be found during the Roderick Staff quest. The Roderick Cube takes up 4 inventory slots but has a 12 storage capacity, granting you a net gain of 8 inventory slots. You can safely store items inside without any worries. Additionally, the cube has many different recipes that you can use to combine different items and create new ones. This goes from creating rejuvenation potions, upgrading runes and gems, creating crafted items, and much more. You can visit the wiki for a complete list of recipes. Charms are a special type of item that provides you with passive bonuses just by having them in your inventory. Note that they need to be in your inventory to function and that they won't work if stored inside the Roderick Cube or your stash. There are 3 types of charms: small charms, 1 slot, large charms, 2 slots, and grand charms, 3 slots. The stats that they can have depend on their size. While you might be tempted to retain all of the charms that you find, they end up taking a lot of inventory space, which will often mean you pick up less loot. I suggest you keep charms that have a real impact on your gameplay to avoid this. Here are some of the most sought out attributes on charms. In addition to normal charms, there are 3 unique charms in Diablo 2 Resurrected. These are Guide's Fortune, Hellfire Torch, and Annihilus. You can only have one of each in your inventory, but they all provide great boosts to your character. The Annihilus and Hellfire Torch can be acquired by defeating specific endgame content, and having them in your inventory greatly reduces your stat investment into strength and dexterity. Having both in your inventory will save you between 20 and 40 stat points that you can spend into Vitality, greatly increasing your health